Fortunately, most organizations do not have the difficult job of terminating an employee very often. But at Career Consultants, we assist an average of 15 to 20 corporate clients every month in planning one or more terminations. Our breadth and depth of experience is why HR professionals, as well as employment attorneys, turn to us to assist in crafting and managing the termination message skillfully. Traditionally, there are 6 steps conducted as collaborative efforts between human resources, the attorney, and career consultants when managing a termination skillfully. They are pre-termination planning, crafting and delivering the message, coaching about how to address emotional responses, transitioning the employee out of the office, communicating to the survivors, measuring the effectiveness, value of your career transition program. In our previous educational video, The Importance of Pre-Termination Planning, we outlined over 40 important details to consider prior to terminating an employee. In this educational video, we're going to focus on how to use that information to skillfully plan the termination meeting, craft and deliver the message in a legal and business-like way, and prepare to deliver the message with sensitivity and compassion. Without careful planning, this highly emotional event has the potential to get out of control and can be damaging to the employee, the manager, and the company. Research indicates that 60% of companies provide outplacement services to individuals they terminate, but most companies don't have a formalized process for training managers on how to handle the termination meeting skillfully. Career consultants can fill that void. Our career coaching team sees the negative impact this lack of training can have when the termination meeting, a highly emotional event to both the manager and the employee, is not well thought out and gets out of control. Managers tell us they delay the discussion to the last minute, lose sleep over having to conduct the termination, have difficulty delivering the message, have difficulty transitioning the person out of the office, do not know how to deal with crying, anger, or the emotional outbursts, and are afraid they will say something inappropriate that could result in a lawsuit. It is no wonder managers can't wait to get the meeting over so they can get it behind them and move on. For them, once the message is delivered, this distasteful leadership responsibility is over. In this video, we will demonstrate how, from the manager's perspective, these potential problems can be mitigated. Let's look at some of the most frequently asked questions we get from managers. A complete termination meeting generally takes no more than 15 to 20 minutes. Less time could suggest the manager is a bit too impersonal, and longer suggests the manager is permitting a debate to start or side issues to develop, which could interfere with the delivery of the message. There are many theories about the best day of the week and time of day to terminate an employee. Our experience tells us that it's better to terminate an employee late in the day when other employees are leaving, making the departure more natural. An early to midweek termination gives the employee time to spend with a personal career coach and begin to take positive actions. A Friday termination, on the other hand, means the employee has 2 days in which they cannot do much more than worry and get angry. It is not necessary for a termination to occur on payday or at the end of a business quarter, but it is good to have a termination occur before the date a pay raise may be anticipated, or before promotions are announced for others in the unit. It is important to avoid significant dates or anniversaries of events in the employee's life when selecting the termination date. Birthdays, anniversaries of employment with the company, wedding anniversaries, children's graduations, religious holidays, and Friday the 13th are not opportune times to conduct a termination. In most cases, the appropriate person to conduct the termination meeting is the employee's immediate supervisor. That manager may want his or her boss or an HR representative to also be present. In either case, the supervisor actually conducts the meeting and delivers the message. Others act as witnesses, confirm details, and discourage the employee from expressing inappropriate behavior or bargaining to change the termination decision. Regardless of who leads the meeting, it is important to present a unified management front. It is important that the individual receive a written letter of confirmation that recaps what was said during the interview. This letter should be brief and businesslike. It should not contain expressions of personal feelings and concerns, justification for the termination, or any statements that could detract from the basic functions of the letter. This letter can be helpful in two ways. It reinforces the reality of the termination with written evidence at a time when the employee may be grappling with disbelief that it actually happened. It provides a more formal summary of important information that the employee may not have heard or remembered from the interview itself. There are several options for selecting a space to conduct the termination meeting. Any space that ensures privacy is appropriate, including the employee's office, a conference room, or a neutral space that is easily accessible. Generally, the termination event is not conducted in the manager's office because once the message is delivered, the manager may get up and leave while HR reviews the severance agreement or the terminated employee meets with the career coach. Resist the temptation to take the employee to lunch or break the news over a drink. This is a discussion which may evoke strong emotions on both parties, so it is wise to conduct the event in a formal, business-like atmosphere. There are times when it is difficult, if not impossible, to conduct the termination meeting in person, especially for an employee who works remotely. In that case, a phone call or video conference may be your only viable option. Be sure to go through the same careful preparation you would complete for a face-to-face termination meeting. Avoid leaving phone or email messages, Facebook posts, or text messages that advise the person of the termination. In the pre-termination planning video, we provided a checkoff list of legal considerations that are important to remember when crafting the message. In situations when the termination is for poor performance or business conditions dictate a position needs to be eliminated, it may not be necessary to engage legal counsel other than for advice or consent. In more complex situations like a merger, an acquisition, a major downsizing, a termination of a person who has a history of inappropriate behavior, or if you think the person being terminated may feel they are being discriminated against because of their age, gender, or religion, it is important to engage legal counsel. We also recommend you include a professional from career consultants at the pre-termination meeting to help ensure that not just the legal issues are considered, but other issues that may impact the person, the organization, and/or the culture of the business are discussed. Let's now move to the steps of the termination meeting and some how-tos. It is crucial to plan the termination interview thoroughly and carefully. Opening statement and reason for termination, expressing empathy, conditions of departure, handling reactions and objections, directives for further action, closing, introduction to the career coach. As a manager, it is important to understand that the purpose of the termination interview is to deliver one basic message. You are not going to work here anymore. The interview must communicate that fact clearly, directly, in a professional, business-like manner and with compassion. This is not an occasion to rehash grievances, repeat accusations, justify actions, or suggest other options. The manager should choose the words carefully and deliver the message in a clear, concise, direct, and definitive tone of voice. Maintaining a calm, confident demeanor is also important. The following are some examples of how to open the conversation. Bill, I have to break some bad news to you. You have been aware for some time that our department has been reorganized. Your job was in danger of being eliminated. I haven't been happy with your performance. Due to business conditions, we're going to have to downsize. You are being relieved of your assignment here as of the end of the week. Again, the manager should choose the words carefully and deliver the message in a clear, concise, direct, and definitive tone of voice. Maintaining a calm, confident demeanor is also important. The manager can expect some emotional reaction, but often not nearly as extreme as anticipated. The following is an example of a follow-up statement that is empathetic. I really feel sorry that I have to tell you this news, Bill. I want you to know if there's anything I can do to help you in your job search, I'll do all I can. The company is going to do all it can as well and has hired a personal career coach for you. I'll introduce him to you shortly. The next stage is important. The manager must wait in silence for a reaction from the employee. The manager should avoid any statement which will confuse the message being delivered. The employee must understand that he or she is being let go. Avoid the temptation to soften the blow. This often clouds the intended message. Likewise, avoid extensive justification of the termination, such as criticism of people upstairs who made the decision or who forced the manager to do so. Do not engage in discussions about past performance, mutual bad feelings in the past, or a history of abuses. Such topics are counterproductive. Most managers tell us they do not know what to expect, do not know how to cope with the emotional responses that usually occur, enter the termination interview fearing the worst. Because of the importance of this topic, we have dedicated an entire training video exclusively to coaching the manager on how to respond to emotional responses such as disbelief, anger, bargaining, crying, depression, silence, threats of lawsuits, or potential workforce violence. There will also be a real need for the manager to provide firm and clear instructions regarding what the organization expects the employee to do. Termination is a shock, and people in shock do not always hear or comprehend what has been said, so they need to be told what to do next. When the termination is effective, key points such as pay, benefits, transition of duties, conditions of the severance agreement such as non-compete clauses or other legal items, clearing out your office, desk. Be prepared and very clear about all logistical matters such as returning company property, transferring duties, and identifying the liaison employee that will handle all matters after the termination. Here are some examples of clear directives about next steps. Bill, you'll be able to clear out your office at 4 p.m. Right now, I'd like you to review this packet of information about your severance and benefits. You can reread it when you get a chance tonight. Feel free to call Mary in Human Resources with any questions you have. Bill, over the next couple of days, you'll have a chance to clear out your office and wrap things up here. Steve Schmidt will be taking over your accounts, and Joni Wilson will be your liaison with the company. Any questions or concerns that you have can be addressed to her. Meanwhile, I'd like you to take this packet of materials. Read through it tonight. It will answer a lot of questions as well as outline the severance benefits. Bill, one of the benefits the company is providing is a personal career coach to assist you during the transition period. Included in your packet is information about all the services they will be providing to you to help you get successfully re-employed as quickly as possible. In closing the termination interview, present the employee with a letter and make an offer of personal support and best wishes. Well, Bill, I'm sorry that I had to be the one to break this news to you. I want to wish you the best of luck for the future. At this time, I'd like you to meet your personal career coach. Let me ask her to step in and explain the services being offered to you as a part of your severance package. After you have completed your meeting with the terminated employee, there are several post-meeting activities to complete. Among them are notes taken during or after the interview, report any unusually adverse reactions of the employee and your subsequent statements or interactions. This information should be provided to both the HR professional and included in the personnel files. Emotional responses or pertinent information that may impact the person's job search should be provided to the career coach. A debrief meeting with the career coach about her meeting with the individual will provide the manager and HR professionals feedback about how the individual felt about the termination meeting, their current emotional state, and the support and severance package provided. If there are any issues or perceptions that need to be addressed, they will be covered during this session. Communications to the other members of the team about the reason for the termination and an orderly transition of the duties. There is an educational video exclusively dedicated to this topic. We began this video discussing the stress and apprehensions most leaders experience when they have to terminate one or more employees. These feelings are only natural because you want to perform your role well and because you care about the individual who is about to lose his or her job. In our experience, When done well, the managers responsible for conducting the meeting report that the discussion went better than they expected. And after the individuals meet with their personal career coach, many report back that although they were not happy about leaving the organization, they were excited about the fact that they will have someone who will work with them as they and their families deal with the emotions they feel and will be there to support them during their job search. We know you're not faced with the difficult task of planning and managing a termination very often, but when you are, call career consultants early in the planning process. Our breadth and depth of experience will be invaluable to you. Feel free to send this video to anyone you think will find it to be of value when they are faced with terminating an employee. You may want to keep a copy in your file for future reference, or you can always access it and other educational videos on Career Consultants' website, www.ccind.com. If you prefer a complimentary paper copy of Planning and Managing the Termination Skillfully, please contact Betsy Hickman, Practice Leader at Career Consultants OI Global Partners at 317-264-4114.